Hello everyone, my name is Professor Hall, and I welcome you back again to another session of KCPS Homeroom. Today, we are going to talk about the main idea and details of a story. Did you know that the main idea is what the story is mostly about? Now, that's different than the subject, in that the main idea tells you what it is mostly about in like a whole phrase or a sentence, not just the subject. And then the details are examples or facts that tell us more and support the main idea. So the details support the main idea. We're going to read the story called Stand Tall, Molly Lou Mellon. Join me as I read along. Molly Lou Mellon stood just taller than her dog and was the shortest girl in the first grade. She didn't mind. Her grandma had told her, "Walk as proudly as you can, and the world will look up to you." So, she did. Molly Lou Mellon had buck teeth that stuck out so far she could stack pennies on them. She didn't mind. Her grandma had told her, "Smile big and the world will smile right alongside you." Can you see her smiling in the mirror? She's pretty excited. So, she did. Molly Lou Mellon had a voice that sounded like a bullfrog being squeezed by a boa constrictor. She didn't mind. Her grandma had told her, "Sing out clear and strong, and the world will cry tears of joy." She's singing. But can you see that frog? His expression doesn't look very happy. What word do you think describes the expression on the frog's face? I would say concerned. So, she did. As you can see in this picture, she's very happy. You can even see she's in the air. Molly Lou Mellon was often fumble-fingered. She didn't mind. Her grandma had told her, "Believe in yourself, and the world will believe in you too." Fumble-fingered means that she dropped things or she was very clumsy. Can you tell in the picture that there are things all over the floor? She's even got a cup on her head, and there's a stack of dishes that she's carrying on the other side of the page. So, she did. Then, Molly Lou Mellon moved to a new town. She had to say goodbye to her grandma and all of her friends. That's a pretty hard thing to do at 6 years old. She's moving away and she's saying goodbye. How do you think she feels about that right now? Would you say that she's feeling sad or nervous or even anxious? Have you ever had that experience before where you had to move away? I have, and I was really scared. And starts in a new school. That's always scary. On the first day of school, Ronald Durkin called her Shrimpo in gym class. When the game started, Molly Lou Mellon caught the football, ran under the legs of Ronald Durkin, and scored a touchdown. All the children thought, "Wow, she's good." And Ronald Durkin felt very foolish. He couldn't believe that she could do that. And he was really mean to her. What was the name that he called her? He called her Shrimpo, and that means somebody that's very, very tiny. On the second day of school, Ronald Durkin called her Bucky-Toothed Beaver. Molly Lou Mellon took out her pennies, stacked 10 high on her teeth, and smiled as big as day. All the children smiled with glee, and Ronald Durkin felt very foolish. All the children are excited. They like it. They think it's really, really cool. But Ronald Durkin is trying to make fun of her. On the third day of school, Ronald Durkin said, "You sound like a sick duck. Honk, honk." Molly Lou Mellon sang out a quack so clear and strong that it made Ronald Durkin somersault backwards, hit his head, and have to go to the nurse. All the children cried with joy to be free of Ronald Durkin for the rest of the afternoon, and Ronald Durkin felt very foolish. Uh-oh, he somersaulted backwards. That means he flipped backwards. He couldn't believe it. On the fourth day of school, Ronald Durkin said that she made the snowflake all wrong, but Molly Lou Mellon opened up her paper and revealed the most beautiful snowflake of all. All the children oohed and ahed, even Ronald. So we know that Molly Lou Mellon is very creative. She can create lots of different things, and her snowflake was really, really magnificent. On the fifth day of school, Ronald Durkin brought Molly Lou Mellon a stacking penny for her tooth and smiled at her. I wonder, did you think that characters could change throughout a story? I knew that characters could change throughout the story because Ronald Durkin has changed. He even gave Molly Lou Mellon a penny to stack on her tooth. Sounds like he might want to be friends with her. I don't know, let's find out. That night, Molly Lou Mellon took out a pencil and paper and wrote a letter to her grandma. Dear Grandma, I wanted to tell you that everything you told me was exactly right. Love, Molly Lou Mellon. And can you see on that page, it looks like Grandma is reading the letter that Molly Lou Mellon wrote to her. And there's a cat on the top of the chair. Now, let's think about the main idea and the details in this story. In order to do that, we have to reflect upon what happened in the story. Let's go back to a couple of the pages in the story. We know that at the very beginning, that Molly Lou Mellon was the shortest girl in her class. Everybody was always much taller than her. And then on the next set of pages, we realize that her teeth are really, really big. But her grandma tells her, in other words, just be who you are. And then we find out that Molly Lou Mellon is very clumsy. She drops several things while trying to wash dishes. Additionally, we also learned that her voice when she sings sounds like a boa constrictor. So Molly Lou Mellon has a lot of things that are different about her, things that in fact could get her teased. And when she moves to her new school, people end up teasing her about it. And unfortunately, Ronald Durkin was one of those kids. So I would say that the main idea is that you should be who you are. And that's one of the lessons that Molly Lou Mellon learned. Be exactly who she was. She didn't change herself for anything. In fact, she had a mantra or some kind of thought that she said to herself every single time. And it came from what her grandmother had always taught her. Now let's talk about details that support that. We know that details support the main idea. A good detail from this text is that when she was at the new school and called Shrimpo, she scored a touchdown while playing football. So we knew that that's a detail. Another really good detail is that when she was stacking pennies on her teeth, that all the other kids smiled and they were amazed at what she could do. So she had confidence in herself. And I would say the very last detail is when she tried to sing and Ronald Durkin tried to make fun of her, and he ended up somersaulting backwards because she could sing so well. As you continue to read this week in your stories, I want you to think about what are the main ideas or details and reflect upon those and think about them in ways to help you become a better reader. I thank you so much for joining me this week as we read Molly Lou Mellon, and I can't wait to see you again soon. Have a great week.